G'day, my name's Jake and welcome to the Rant Corner. Today we're going to be having a look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity and whether or not it's worth it. So Age of Calamity, much like all the other sort of warrior style games, is you versus about 100 other monsters and things, right? You run into a map, you clear it, there's objectives, you do stuff. It's pretty straightforward, but all the warrior style games always come with their own unique flair, and for this one today it is not just Zelda, but it's Breath of the Wild Zelda, which is, in my opinion, probably one of the best Zelda games ever. It's definitely the best one that I've ever played. So with that, Age of Calamity, this game takes place before the events of Breath of the Wild. This is covered in a lot of the trailer information. This isn't exactly news, and it gives us some backstory into how the characters were thinking and how they were acting before that entire situation went and happened. Because obviously in Breath of the Wild, things are pretty ganked up. It's a bit of a mess. So at least now we have access to the before and the after picture, at least before we get access to Breath of the Wild 2. So without giving too much away, there is a new villain in this game, which is, I guess, to be expected. It is a new game, it is a new entry to a franchise, and this villain seems to be the individual which accelerates the timeline and the everything that had occurred in Breath of the Wild, because obviously in that game there was a lot of like, oh, this happened before we were ready, this happened before we were ready, and the villain guy apparently is the reason. Well, I'm not going to spoil because, you know, it ends up being this really cool reveal later on in the game. So much like with all the other Warriors games, which I mentioned at the top of this, the game isn't exactly difficult, right? You spam a button, you use abilities, you take out hordes of enemies, you rinse, repeat, and you move through each level as they come. It's not complicated, right? Like, it's pretty straightforward. You just do the thing. There are some characters, however, which are highly technical, so if you are more technical minded when it comes to these sort of hack and slash, me versus the world kind of games, then you are definitely going to want to pick up those characters. There are some mashes, so even if you're not into the whole finesse situation, you can just go absolutely crazy on your controller. Probably not as crazy as I did, because I ended up killing one of my controllers. Like the A button no longer works, so not that crazy. And I really don't want to spoil this game because it is genuinely amazing, especially if you are a massive fan of Breath of the Wild. There will be some key moments within the entire game that you're playing where things will just shift and you'll be like, what? Oh my god. And that's awesome because, you know, it's nice to have a nice little dramatic shift every now and again, but it's every bit of nostalgia and fan service that you would expect a game like this to kind of be, and that's honestly so good. Now, obviously, one of the key selling points of this game is the combat, because that is all that you will be doing. There's that, like, side quests, as far as the game is concerned, is that you get resources and monster parts and whatever from the main combat sections, and then you just sort of go, yeah, cool, here's your bit. See you later. Done. That's it for side quests. There's not like here's a mini game. No. You are just murdering. You are just in combat the entire time. As a result of that wonderful game decision, which is genuinely wonderful, the combat has to be tight. It has to be fast and it has to be smooth. And this game really delivers on that. Especially characters which I thought would be a little bit more sloppy, still really responsive. And given any situation, you should be able to dodge or roll or whatever. Like, that option will remain open to you. In a game that can get pretty intense with a lot of elite enemies just charging at you, slapping you like crazy, you're gonna want to be able to dodge the second you need to dodge. Later on in the game, after you complete the whole first act situation, you'll actually begin to unlock a wider roster of characters. If you've ended up playing the demo, that's pretty much the whole game, but with a lot more story involved, a lot more risk, a lot more like, oh my god, this is happening because of X, and you get motivated because of that reason entirely. As you complete your way through Act 1, you'll unlock various characters like Impa and Zelda. Now, this is really cool because it allows you to change midway through a massive combat into any one of these other characters, which isn't punishing. It's actually pretty cool. you will unlock a very wide roster. In fact, there was a lot of playable characters in this game that I didn't expect to be a thing. And it also allows you to create your own roster for various missions. You can have access to one set hero, or you can have access to a team of up to 4 that you can freely switch between. And you can order those characters to go to other key objectives in the map. So instead of you running around for about 20-30 minutes per level, and there's not just 10 levels, there's a lot of different levels. You are not going to want to run around these entire maps solo. It's exhausting. You're going to want to use the Switch character as more of like a teleport and a different moveset to be able to conquer different parts of the map. Now, obviously, with a large cast of characters and the fact that they can level up and progress and their weapons can level up and progress, that's not for everyone. Some people will just pick Link and then just run through most of the game. That's exactly what I did. You'll end up with a cast of like 10 to 15 characters which are all just underleveled. Like, they're really not ready for any of the mid to late game fights, which is great because there is a trainer and a blacksmith which help you to super level up weapons and characters. Leveling up the characters is awesome because you can go from having like a level 10 Impa, let's say, without spoiling, I nearly spoiled, level 10 Impa to like a level 30 or level 40, and now all of a sudden when you switch to that character, you're actually able to do enough damage and you're able to keep up with what's going on. It is worth pointing out that how far you can level other characters up is at least as high as your highest level character. So you can't outpace yourself, great, but you will want at least one character getting most of those levels so that you can just pay to level everything else up. And I want to be honest, really honest, I am so thankful this mechanic exists in the game. It's certainly not the worst part about this game, because if it was going to have anything bad, well, at least the bad bit isn't the thing you have to play through. This is a bit tricky to explain because I didn't record my entire journey through Age of Calamity, but basically there are these little side quests. They sort of just bing, 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 they pop up, and you just go to it and you're just like, yeah, you can have a horseradish, or you can have a firefly, whatever. Like, here you go, you unlock a trader, you unlock a trainer, you unlock a level, you get abilities, combo extenders, hearts, so on and so forth, right? It's really, really cool the way that they've done that. What's not cool is that later on in the game, particularly if you have a look at my post-game save, there's a lot of things and a lot more that I have not done. Oh my god. Most of the map is just side quests. Like, don't get me wrong, that means there's a lot to do. It means it can be very, very fun, very engaging. You've got to get access to a lot of these different things, but it also means grinding on a bunch of different levels and finding the most optimal level to grind on for resources to unlock the extra Y combo, the extra X combo, or a bomb damage increase, or a heart. They are worth it. They are worth the time and the effort to put in to commit the murders of all those generic enemies in order to unlock some of these upgrades, which can be game-changing and character-defining. Some characters might suck until you unlock like the extra 4 combo extenders that they actually needed to unlock this one move which actually lets them do something so amazing you're like, oh my god, of course, they're OP. But that isn't all with Age of Calamity. Beautiful, it's fun, it's fluid, it fills in some of the lore gaps that was missing from Breath of the Wild, which is amazing. But there's even more to do once you've beat the story. An extra 2 secret characters that you can unlock by completing all of the side quests in the game, which originally in my first playthrough I was like, whatever, right? Just another couple of characters, who cares? But now they've teased DLCs coming out for Age of Calamity. Now I actually might have to get those characters in order to to beat some of those levels. So yeah, cool, great. It's time to get back on the grind wheel to unlock all that other stuff. The future of Age of Calamity is looking pretty bright, especially if you're able to do the grind. But we come to the all-important question: is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity worth it? Is it? Yeah, actually, I think it is. It's beautifully rendered. There's an incredible story there as well. Thought this was going to be some generic action-adventure hack and slash. Oh, cool, they're dead. You just move through, whatever, right? Like, I was totally ready to write this thing off, but I was really excited to go back to the Hyrule from Breath of the Wild. This actually delivered a lot more than what I was expecting. I walked into this going, yeah, cool, whatever. And I walked out going, like, how much better is Breath of the Wild 2 gonna be than Breath of the Wild 1 and this? I got high hopes walking into the next Zelda game, the next extension to the franchise, because it's gonna be sick. This game is totally worth it. I highly recommend it. It's definitely worth a shot. And if you're still unsure, like I said, there's a demo. Download that, give it a go, have some fun. Anyway, that's all I had for you today in this rant, and thank you for joining me in the Rant Corner today. I've had a great time talking about Age of Calamity. It's a fantastic game. You should definitely get it. And if you've liked what you've seen here today, please like, comment, subscribe, do the things, check out some other videos. Have a great time. It's all up to you. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.